Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So there's your Sesame on that screen, and then we've got Matt on this screen.
Okay, cool.
So again, we'll just go through Sesame today. Colette, thank you very much for your patience. We'll just show you what Sesame looks like from a computer standpoint, as well as the functionality for the iPad, and talk a little bit about the benefits. So what you're seeing now on your screen, I should say Mr. Robertson at the top, that is what you would see signing into Sesame on the computer as a teacher. So you've got all of the classes that you're working with broken down, all of your active classes for the year or the semester in front of you. You can also look at your archived classes as a resource. Creating a class, super simple. Just go to the Create Class button. You can color coordinate the class, add a title, connect your curriculum objectives to track through the year. More on that in a moment. And then from there, the next screen would be to add students, and you're also able to invite students if you wanted your students to have sign-in accounts. You can do that with they can do that with email. They can do that with scan codes. We have every type of classroom using Sesame, and all the way from kindergarten levels right through 4-year university programs. Cool. So that's a quick class creation. If we open one of the classes, we'll go grade 4, the arts here. This is what you would see as your activity feed, it's called. So anything that you're looking to track in the course, whether you're going to use this to lesson plan day to day, or you're going to track specific projects if you're working in more of a project basis. Creating an activity, fighting off something here. Creating an activity, super easy. Just clicking on the Create Activity button opens up to, you create your title. You can add a full description with rich text editing. So if you wanted to create the lesson in here, you're able to. You can choose whether this activity is private, visible just to you and not students or parents. As well as this Enable Publishing button is AKA a notifications feature. If you wanted to send students notifications that you have assessed them on their work and for them to check in, you can do that using this.
Now, would you say, Matt, that it's like, I think personally, it's easier to set up these assignments using your PC or your MacBook instead of on the iPad? I know it's, relatively the same, but I find it easier to do on a computer. Would you agree, or?
Yes. Now, that being said, by September, by start of school year 2017, there will be the functionality to create activities on the iPad from a teacher perspective.
Okay.
But yes, in most of our users' cases, the teachers that use us, they create the activities on the computer, and then they use either the computer or the iPad to assess. The mobile version of Sesame is really useful for capturing work.
Yes.
Images, videos, and recordings. More on that in a moment. But yeah, to answer your question, that's absolutely correct. Most of our teachers create their activities on the computer version as you see in front of you.
Okay, so that's good because that shifts my thinking.
Okay. So from adding your title, your lesson plan description, and choosing your private or not, and notifications, then use the term standards. We work with a lot of international schools as well, but it's sort of a general term. But clicking the Add Standards button, that's going to select, open up the window to all of the curriculum objective packets that you've connected to this course. So in this case, this is a grade 4 arts class. We're based in Ontario, so we have Ontario grade 4 the arts. And for a previous demonstration for a school in Alberta, I'd connected a science packet here. Other things you're able to track as well are things like soft skills. If you wanted to track learning skills of your students, that's something you can do here. We can either upload that for you, or there's a custom curriculum interface where you can upload your own, call it curriculum standards, but if you're looking to track learning skills and learning habits, you can do that here as well. So clicking on any one of your subject packets will open that up further. So in this case, arts, we've got dance, drama, music, visual arts, and I can connect any of the curriculum objectives that I want to work with. They'll appear down at the bottom and appear on the activity itself. Furthermore, you can add attachments. So if you had previous examples of student work you wanted to add here, if you had a PowerPoint for any reason or any resources you wanted to offer the students, you can attach that here as well. That'll just open a window to the computer. Any questions?
Okay,
No,
go ahead, Colleen.
oh no, I'm good. Sorry.
The question I had, Matt, was when you're saying add attachments, that's not like the photos and the videos. That's something else?
Yeah, that's if you wanted an attachment available from the teacher's side. So if you had a paper copy of an assignment that went with this activity that you were sending home,
Oh, okay.
you could attach that paper copy here. So there's no more excuses of I lost the paper. It's always
It's
on
all there.
Sesame.
Oh, I like that. Okay, cool.
You can find it right there. So from this window, the next thing you're going to do is create an assessment tool. So here you're going to open up, and this might be a little different from what you've seen, Annette. This is the newer version of Sesame.
Okay.
So now you're going to be able to choose your rubrics, or if you want to create a score or a checklist. So if I show that as an example, a checklist is just different criteria where you would check yes or no, and you can also add standards to those specific criteria. A score is a similar idea, except you can say, okay, it's out of this much, and that's the criteria. You can also add standards. And then we have the rubric option. So this is a completely customizable rubric where you're going to add your rows. You can customize the number of columns up or down, depending on what type of rubric you're using, and completely customize what it says at the top, whether it's levels or A through D or what have you, and the criteria, and again, attach specific curriculum standards to those portions of the rubric if you're looking to track on specific levels.
Sorry, Matt, I'm going to have to stop you. I was exploring and I somehow lost. This is in activities? Is that where I'm supposed to go?
Yes, now you may not see this if you're on the computer version. This is the newer version of Sesame that will be available in the next week or so. But this is what any staff member would see
Okay.
going forward, as this is more looking at anyone that's interested in using this for next year.
I feel like I've seen that though already. Would I have seen that in the iPad version already?
You shouldn't have unless our developers gave you advanced access, but I don't think
Okay.
they would have. The iPad Create Assessment tool shouldn't be up just yet,
Okay.
but it will be very similar to this. And so once you've completed, adding your fields into your rubric, you can go ahead and create the assessment, and it becomes an activity for your students to do.
Awesome.
So that's right here, and this would be where the point where we're going to look at a specific activity. So if I open this one here, this is what a full activity looks like. So when you come in, this is the description portion. You get your standards. You've got the rubric here. This doesn't have an attachment in that paper copy example we had, but that would show up in this view as well. For the student, they would just see what's in the middle of your screen. Only the teacher sees the other students on the left side.
Okay.
So selecting any student would open up the window of work that they've done for this activity. So this is a nature art presentation and project activity. Down the center here, you've got a picture or video of Corinne doing her presentation, as well as the work that she created around her nature project.
Okay.
On the right side, you have your rubric. So while you're watching the video or looking at the work that they've done, you can also assess them based on the work that they've done. This is a 5-column rubric, so I can just run through my assessment here, add some comments, and that's it.
That is
as soon as
awesome.
you interact with the rubric, the student gets
Really
marked as
nice.
assessed.
Now, can you just show me, Matt? So let's say I'm the teacher. I've created this rubric. I've marked my students' work. Now I'm ready to do report cards. Where do I go to get that information?
Absolutely. We'll get there in just a moment. If it's all right with you,
No worries.
I'm going to go through the functionality here as well as what it looks like on the iPad, and then we'll get over to the reporting side.
Awesome. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. So I'll quickly delete that example, and I will drop the screen share briefly to open up my iPad view. Okay, and can you see that? Should look very similar. This is the iPad version here.
Set up so you can look at the iPad version.
So on this, again, this is your opening screen where you see all of your active classes. If I open my Grade 4 the Arts class, you'll see that test activity we created has already synced up with my account and is now in the iPad as well. So one of the benefits of Sesame, and one of the reasons that we first got talking with Annette and Katie, was that Sesame is completely available offline for a teacher on an iPad or iPhone. So all you have to do is create your activities that you want to work on and make sure that your device syncs up within Wi-Fi, but then there's no reason that you have to be in Wi-Fi to use the app. So if you're out doing a trip out, you mentioned it's hunting week, so if there are excursions, then you can bring the iPad along and capture the learning and work that's happening.
Awesome.
For example, while you're out without any reason to have to connect to the internet. And then once you come back in with that device, your Sesame account will sync up across your cloud account so you can access all that information on any device.
Awesome.
Great.
So then opening up the activity that we just had, you'll see again here, this is for Kareem. You can see that video and activity. But if we go to a student that doesn't have any evidence, then that blue plus button at the bottom left of the screen, that's how you get new evidence. So pressing that's going to open the option to take a photo, take a new video, do a simple note observation, or add from your existing camera roll within the device, pictures you've already taken. So if I go photo, just take a quick snap of my keyboard here, and we can use that photo instantly. That's going to show up on this new snap screen here. So here's where we can say, add some comments or describe what's happening in the picture. And then furthermore, if you look at the bottom left of this box, you'll see, again, you've got the option for a new picture or to access the device's camera roll. The third icon in from the left is a voice note. So if you wanted to record a conversation with a student or a vocal observation, you can do that here as well. And then that little book icon is to add standards again. So if the student demonstrated a learning that is outside of what you had planned for with this activity, you can attach new pieces here. And then again, the option to make it private, as in visible only to you, or public, as in visible to you and only the student involved with this evidence. From there, your next option is if that student worked with somebody else, you can tag them as well and save that. That's going to appear right on your timeline in Sesame. And from there, you can assess using your rubric right along the right side. So you've got all of the levels showing up just above your thumb when you swipe across.
Awesome.
And that's how you make a quick assessment. You can add comments under any specific rubric criteria.
Push OK.
Or overall.
Okay. Perfect. So
there's also one more thing with the iPad useful feature. If you look at the keyboard itself, Sesame's built an integration with the voice to text. So if you wanted to press that, you can track the words that you're saying or any comments you want to make using the keyboard within the iPad, and that'll track on Sesame.
We're muted now, so you're good.
And once you've done that, top left to go back to your students, and you can select more students to assess.
Hello.
Do I still have you folks?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I just muted Matt because Annette was trying out the voice thing. I didn't think you wanted to hear her.
No problem at all. Just wanted to make sure that the line went pretty quiet there. Okay, so that is the purpose of the iPad, is to quickly capture the work that's going on. You can access all of your classes, and it's really all about assessing and capturing using the iPad.
Awesome.
If I quickly drop the screen, and we should go back over to the web version of Sesame. Let me know when you can see the screen again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just delete the test activity that we did before. Actually, that's a good point. You've got editing options at all times on any of your activities. So you can edit the activity, you can edit or change the assessment tool quickly, you can duplicate an activity if you wanted to reuse that rubric. You can share it with other teachers and, of course, delete it, which I'm going to do now.
Now, Matt, just while I've got you here, so all these features that you're talking about are available in the paid version of the app, but also the, let's say, free version. So why, just because people are going to ask, why would they do the paid version over the free version? Is it because of the rollover?
So a couple of reasons that the paid, the school version is a lot better choice than the free. And the free is useful if you're looking to capture and assess. You're not able to customize rubrics or assessment tools with the free. You don't get year-over-year tracking, which is something that we offer. So you can see, as a student, you can get a record of all of the work that you've done year on year for a learning portfolio.
Yeah, which I absolutely is amazing. Yeah.
And you don't, again, with the free, you're not able to do the reporting on specific learning criteria for tracking later on.
Yes. Okay, good to know. And so,
and there's no custom curriculum standards if you wanted to track those. So if we're doing some Aboriginal language standards you wanted to track, or learning skills, or anything like that, we can't customize that in the free.
okay, good to know.
Year over year.
And just because Colleen is moving on to a different role next year, so I just want to ask, just for her benefit mostly, is the rough kind of estimate cost per student you're looking at for Sesame?
Sure. So we can figure that out depending on the size of rollout. I think with specifically for KO, we did was it $9 a student?
Something like that, I think. Annette, do you know?
Offhand, I can't remember.
Normally it's 15, but I think what we worked out for, looking at the potential to grow, it's $9 per student per year.
Okay.
And that covers the 12-month year, so they never lose access. And that covers all of the features we're discussing today, including the year-on-year learning portfolio.
And obviously that pricing would be a bit different with if you went as a whole district, correct?
Yes, if we had a larger district or a much larger student body, that $9 became sort of unnecessary, there'd certainly be a change there.
Okay, good to know. Okay, because especially for us going into next year, that would be something that I really see so many connections for Sesame in every single grade. Like if I was in the classroom next year, I would use this for everything, for art portfolios, for drama, dance. I could use it for math. So it's like we're just using it as a kindergarten tool, but it is like I could see so many uses for this in high school level, like you showed us earlier. So anyway, that's just something to think about in the future.
Are fantastic for the older grade.
Yeah.
Like just to be able to have the rubrics and to be able to monitor stuff that way. Because with high school too, like the older grades, there's a lot more of use of rubrics as opposed to any other sort of assessment.
Or anecdotal, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna show Anne when I come up to Poplar Hill, Colleen, next week.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that there'll be some buy-in there because it really is a game changer for teachers because we're not carrying all this stuff home anymore. We can take a picture and assess it later on our iPad.
Yeah, and being in kindergarten for so many years, I was constantly looking for an easy way to assess what they're doing because there's the anecdotal and you make a note, but then unless you actually have what they did in front of you, it's hard to sort of make those connections with your notes to what they did. So if you take a picture of it and type it in the iPad or your phone or whatever, and then take it home, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Thanks, Matt. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and you mentioned with kindergarten,
Colleen.
there's also sorry, Colleen. I was going to say Colette. Pardon me, because I was getting Annette and Colleen. Colleen, with kindergarten, another useful feature is the reporting that we'll get into in a moment. Being able to track by individual curriculum objectives that you tagged, and it breaks it down. It breaks it down for all the 4 frames as well. So
okay, that's
yeah, you can look at it that way.
that's
And then with the high school example we were talking about also, the real benefit there is giving students accounts connected to their school email or even their student number, because they can get Sesame as a student version on their device, whether it's an iPad or a phone or whatever is available to them, or even the computer, and they can upload their own evidence. So they can turn in papers. We mentioned because of the visual items, you mentioned art, drama, music, but we're also seeing a huge success with Peel Regional Schools in their high school levels with classes like chemistry, physics, science, math, for various reasons, for the evidence that they're able to turn in and create there from a student perspective. And it really brings the student into the assessment process and really makes them part of it and much more engaged with how they're being assessed as well as how they can improve. So we've heard a lot of really good things at the high school level too.
Is there a way to connect it to Google Classroom? Because I know that's what we use, right, with Chromebooks and stuff and such. And so we're already uploading and doing things with Google Classroom. Is there a way to connect it? So say if we upload it to the grade 7, 8 Google Classroom, then it's uploaded into Sesame as well? I'm not sure exactly how that would work, but
that's a great question. Yeah. So we currently have the single sign-on available. So if you're a Google Classroom, that's really exciting to hear. It means that students can just do a one-click into Sesame. Beyond that, we've got that you can share absolutely any file type in Sesame. So for the moment, what we've done in the past is that students will simply put a link to their doc, and then the teacher can open it from there. So you can be linked in. Going forward, September, what we're going to see is actually a full Google Drive integration in Sesame. So the students can upload those as file types from their Google Drive.
awesome.
Good to know.
Oh, that's great.
That's great to hear. So just wanted to go through those two examples that we talked about. Next on the screen here, I'll show you from any of your classes, there's a student management page. So all of the students in the school or that are supposed to be in classes in the Sesame system, you can enroll them or unenroll them from the class at any point. There's an invite screen. What I wanted to do was show you what it looks like when a student looks at their profile, or if you as a teacher choose to involve the parents, this is what the parents would see as well. The parents get an email link. There's no way for the parent to communicate with the teacher. I can't say that enough. We don't need to make another way for parents to communicate with teachers. They have their own way of connecting with you, whether it's your email or what have you. This is simply a window for parents, and they love that. At any grade, they really enjoy the access and understanding of what's going on. So this here is a breakdown of what you would see from a student view or parent view of the activities that have happened. So the student can filter by any of the classes that they're involved with, and then look down on their timeline feed of their activities. So this checklist here can also look at, for a comic strip art project that we had to do, these were my marks, as well as some comments here, and you can open that for more information. You can also look at the snaps option, where if you just wanted to look at the evidence that's been captured around the work you've done, then you can look at all of that in your timeline.
Awesome.
And going over to the reporting side, there's a few tools and a few new ones that Annette and Katie won't have seen yet. So first and foremost, the one that I think was really important when we first spoke was the gradebook export. So this will be customizable, but customizable to what you need it to be, what you need it to spit out in terms of data. But this is a quick export spreadsheet, so we could make that customizable that you can pull all of your marks out at the end of the term to look at over time.
I love it.
Awesome, Matt.
Well, that's great to hear. So this is what you pull out as you go through, and you can look at all of your marks for each student for each activity. You're also, under the standards coverage report box, you're able to select the specific group or curriculum that you wanted to track, and also down the left side, select a specific student if you want to look at them. And for any curriculum objective, obviously you get that cloud hover where it tells you what it is, but if you click on it for that student, you can see every activity that they participated in around this particular curriculum objective, as well as the evidence.
Awesome.
So this is where you're looking at it to really determine, deep to a specific curriculum connection, what they did, and useful at any level. But this is, as I mentioned, Colleen, where we break down by the 4 frames. You would see each of the frames as one of these bolded titles under the kindergarten, and then all of the curriculum objectives therein. So you can look at for each objective what work has been done or captured. Because obviously you're not using rubrics in kindergarten, but this is a really good way to see per student what was captured over the year or that term.
Cool. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So that really covers, I think, the reporting in terms of getting a spreadsheet of all of your marks, as well as looking at specific curriculum objectives, and most of what I wanted to go through today. Did you have any other questions?
No, I think that's awesome.
Oh, okay.
And Annette, I was telling Annette, once you do your gradebook export, you can actually set up, because it's a spreadsheet, you can set up those cells to kind of average your grades for you. It's pretty awesome. I can show you how to do that.
She makes it sound so easy.
Yeah, so we try to make it as easy and straightforward as possible to get all the work that you need to do in a year, and to really capture what's happening in the classroom, as well as let the students, if you choose, let the students be involved with that.
Mm-hmm. And also, it just really, now all you need is an iPad to assess what you're doing on a field trip, and now you can gather so much rich assessment, authentic assessment on the fly.
Absolutely. Same with the iPhone. There's teacher functionality for the iPhone too, it should be said. So if you don't have the iPad, you can still use your phone to capture what's going on in the exact same way as you saw.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Great.
Okay, so that's about it for what I wanted to cover with you today. I'd be happy to be part of the meeting. You mentioned in a week or two you're going up to another school.
Yeah, we're actually going up to Colleen's school, Poplar Hill, and we're going to release the teachers, hopefully, for a day. So if we could even just take the same amount of time to show them this, I think that we can even show them the video if you don't have time. But I just think it's such.
I'll be plugging it between now and when you guys get here. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Colleen.
Isn't it so awesome, Colleen? It's so cool.
I really like it. I wish I'd known about this earlier. It would make life so much easier.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to make your life a lot easier next year.
Yes.
That's really the goal here.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Well, it's great to hear some positive feedback, and I'd be more than happy to spend some time live. I mean, you can take the video, and I think this is a great resource that you've captured today with the recording. But I think that that being live is much more engaging for the audience. So if you had some teachers that wanted to get together at Poplar Hill, I'd be more than happy to do this presentation again.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll plan to set that up next week as part of our schedule. We're in the community Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So whatever day, Rocky, if it happens, the principal lets us release the teachers, we'll have everyone participate in a half-hour sesame, and they can I really think it would be beneficial for them.
Yeah.
Even just to play with it this year and then go into September ready to document some student learning. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if they want to play with it this year, that's just fine. They can either set the free account, or we could, if you wanted to talk more about that getting set up for next year, we can set up their school account so they can start using it. So we can figure out all of that a little later on.
And then maybe that's something that can come out of my tech budget next year. There's no reason why it couldn't, because I don't have any new initiatives starting next year for technology. We're just going to work on the tools that we have, and the iPads is one of them. So this is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we may look at possibly involving you on some future, maybe part of the Summer Institute. We're going to a meeting next week, and maybe that's something we can put forward so that you might be available, even if it's just our video conference, to answer any questions about it. So
Now you're in Toronto, right, Matt?
I'm actually in Kitchener, just outside
Kitchener?
of Toronto.
Okay. So just tentatively, what's your availability August 29th?
At the moment, I don't have anything planned. I don't believe.
Because if it's in person is always best, and so if we could find a way to get you into Thunder Bay just even for a day, because that's where our institute is. It's a cheap flight from Toronto to Thunder Bay, so we probably could work it into our budget if we could get you to come out and
Okay, well, we'll have to,
sure, yeah.
we'll put that forward as an option.
Yeah, we'll put it as an option and we'll get back to you. But yeah, for sure it'll be the 29th at some point.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll keep that date on my calendar, and I'll look forward to hearing from you guys about Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday next week, whenever works best.
Oh, sounds great.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure. Always a pleasure speaking with you, and let me know if any new questions come up, either from Katie or Matt, or you, Colleen, if some of the teachers have some come back. I'll feel free to share my email, and I'll look forward to speaking with you next week.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Colleen.